Tuesday, December 24. Light and Darkness. Read John chapter 1, verses 4 to 10, chapter 3, verses 19 to 21, chapter 5, verse 35, chapter 8, verse 12, chapter 9, verse 5, chapter 11, verses 9 and 10, and chapter 12, verse 35. What great contrast is presented here, and why is this contrast so foundational to understanding truth? First of all, John 1, verses 4 to 10. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. And chapter 3, verses 19 to 21. This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people loved darkness instead of light, because their deeds were evil. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds may be exposed. But whoever lives by the truth comes into the light, so that it may be seen plainly that what they have done has been done in the sight of God. And John 5, verse 35, John was a lamp that burned and gave light, and you chose for a time to enjoy his light. And chapter 8, verse 12, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And chapter 9, verse 5, while I am in the world, I am the light of the world. And chapter 11, verses 9 and 10, Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Anyone who walks in the daytime will not stumble, for they see by this world's light. It is when a person walks at night that they stumble, for they have no light. And chapter 12, verse 35. Then Jesus told them, You are going to have the light just a little while longer. Walk while you have the light, before darkness overtakes you. Whoever walks in the dark will not know where they are going. The world is in darkness. It shuns the light and cannot, on its own, find its way to the true God, the personal God of creation, revelation, and redemption. Ellen White writes in The Desire of Ages, page 412, Never can humanity of itself attain to a knowledge of the divine. It is as high as the heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell? What canst thou know? Job 11, verse 8. Only the spirit of adoption can reveal to us the deep things of God, which eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man. God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. End of quote. Only Jesus Christ has declared him the Father in John 1, verse 18. The Greek verb is exegeomai, E-X-E-G-E-O-M-A-I, which means to interpret or explain or exposit. John presents Jesus as the heavenly messenger, the one who explains what it means to know God. Only through Jesus can we truly know God. Read John chapter 8, verses 42 to 44. How does Jesus describe the false foundation on which the religious leaders of Israel had based their faith? John 8, beginning at verse 42. Jesus said to them, If God were your Father, you would love me, for I have come here from God. I have not come on my own. God sent me. Why is my language not clear to you? Because you are unable to hear what I say. You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Those who do not stand in the truth speak from their own resources. They see the meaning of a text only from a human perspective. By contrast, we must accept that Christ is the light of the world and follow him in our interpretation of his word. In contrast, the devil speaks from his own resources, as we read in verse 44 of John chapter 9. If we are not careful and are not surrendered in faith and obedience to God, we are in danger of doing the same thing. Reading the text based only on our own desires, wants, and perspectives, which is much easier to do than we might realize. And so to finish today, how do you respond to truths that step on your toes, as opposed to how you should respond to those truths?
Tuesday, December 24. Light and darkness. The Jewish leaders had studied the teachings of the prophets concerning the kingdom of the Messiah, but they had done this not with a sincere desire to know the truth, but with the purpose of finding evidence to sustain their ambitious hopes. When Christ came in a manner contrary to their expectations, they would not receive him, and in order to justify themselves, they tried to prove him a deceiver. When once they had set their feet in this path, it was easy for Satan to strengthen their opposition to Christ. The very words that should have been received as evidence of his divinity were interpreted against him. Thus they turned the truth of God into a lie, and the more directly the Savior spoke to them in his works of mercy, the more determined they were in resisting the light. The Desire of Ages, page 212. Holding up Christ as our only source of strength, presenting his matchless love and having the guilt of the sins of men charged to his account and his own righteousness imputed to man, in no case does away with the law or detracts from its dignity. Rather, it places it where the correct light shines upon and glorifies it. This is done only through the light reflected from the cross of Calvary. The law is complete and full in the great plan of salvation, only as it is presented in the light shining from the crucified and risen Savior. This can be only spiritually discerned. It kindles in the heart of the beholder ardent faith, hope, and joy that Christ is his righteousness. This joy is only for those who love and keep the words of Jesus, which are the words of God. Selected Messages, Book 3, page 176. Then Jesus said unto them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. John chapter 12, verse 35. This is the warning we would give to you who claim to believe the truth. Yet a little while is the light with you. We would ask you to consider the shortness of human life, how swiftly time is passing. Golden opportunities and privileges are within our reach. The plenteous, abundant mercy of God is waiting your demand upon its richest treasures. The Savior is waiting to dispense his blessings freely, and the only question is, will you accept them? The rich provisions have been made, and light is shining in a variety of ways, but this light will lose its preciousness to those who do not appreciate it, who do not accept and respond to it, or, having received it, do not pass the light along to others. That I May Know Him, page 87.
And remember, God is always faithful.